Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create. Today I'm going to share Graphic 45's The Magic of Oz mini album that I just completed. This is an 8.5 by 8.5 mini album, and the internal pockets are 8 by 8. This is the newest DCE from Graphic 45, which is The Magic of Oz, which I think is just gorgeous. So I'm going to share with you some of the features on the cover. So I've popped up some of the elements, and these are just duplicates of what's underneath them to give the book some dimension. And then here I've popped and recentered the Magic of Oz title, and so I've actually overlaid Dorothy on top of the sign here. And I added this because I had to cut off part of that little witch, so I added this flower to kind of mask that. And then I added some additional poppies over on this side, and the reason I did that is because I wasn't able to get enough of the Tin Man image in here to feature him. He's kind of cut in half, so I did this to cover his face up and kind of mask that he was cut in half, so it's your eye isn't drawn to that initially. Then I fussy cut the lion, and I did the lion in 2 layers. The first layer, I cut his head and his front legs out to make that look like it's coming forward from the back legs. And then I fussy cut and layered another head on, just the head on top of that. So the lion is actually the base image, a second popped, and then a third, which is just the head. So it's made to look like it's coming toward you, and hopefully some of that is coming through the video, but it's hard to tell. So that's my cover. On the side, I used a Graphic 45 door knocker, and then I used the bottom of the knocker to add my chains and my little charms. And my charm is a balloon, and here's a little slipper, a straw, a scarecrow. I was going to call him a straw man, same thing. And then a little dog like Toto here. And then the back I kept just very simple and flat because there's such a big pattern on it. I just left it very simple. So that is basically the front and the side of the mini album. So with that, I'm going to open it up. So the way I designed the album was to go with the flow of the story. So we start with the Wicked Witch, and then we end with the Emerald City. And normally I have my inside covers both match, but because of the strength of the story and the theme in this paper, I went with it instead of trying to go back to my normal sort of design pattern. So in front, we've got a 5x7 card that's held together with just a simple bow, so there's room for a photo here. And then here we've got this very large flap that opens up, so there's lots of room for photos. You could put a little photo here without covering up the witch, and maybe even a little something down here. And then inside you can use this entire panel. I left this open to place a small photo here, and then I just added these 2 accents. These are pieces from the chipboard. As part of the DCE, you get stickers and the chipboard, as well as the 12 by 12 papers. And here, since it didn't come with ephemeras, it came with these very large cut-aparts, which I did feature throughout the album, but it didn't come with the standard 3x4 and 4x6 ephemera, so I made my own. These little cards are part of one of the cut-aparts, and so I've kind of added that to some of the other design paper and layered it, and I think it looks a little bit like ephemera, and of course the back sides can be used for photos. And I love this paper. I don't know if it's coming across in the video, but it's a big O and a Z for Oz, which is kind of cool. I like it. I'm going to tie that later. So the inserts, I added a tab. This is one of the cut-aparts, and it's actually designed as a stamp. So there's actually another border that goes around it that makes it look like a stamp, but I cut it down in the dimension of the emerald and used it as tabs, and I featured each one of the main characters in the story as a tab on the pullouts. Okay, and there's enough of them to do the front and back. So that's my insert for page 1. And then here's the cut-apart that I was telling you about. So it comes with 4 of these cut-aparts. You get 2 copies, so a total of 8, but you know, it's 4 original designs, 2 of each. And it was such a strong piece that I decided actually to design the entire book around this. So this design feature is repeated on the other 2 cut-aparts that I had. And I really like the way it turned out. And this is an exploding feature. I really don't know where it originated from. I've seen it many times. and I've mostly seen it in a box. So I just decided to use it as just an exploding, and I'm calling it an exploding flap feature. So each one of the flaps opens up, and then once you get everything open, in the center is a policy envelope. And inside the policy envelope is yet another place for photos that you can stash. I created this ephemera card, but it could just be photos that you have stashed in there, or little pieces of memorabilia, tickets, notes, that kind of thing. And then these are part of the stickers, and they're open backed, so you can stick your photos slightly behind them. Okay. Now in the cut instructions, if you click the more button, you'll see the cut instructions, and it'll give you the cutting for all the flaps on the pages. And at the end of that, it's going to give you the cut instructions and the score instructions for what I'm calling the exploding flap feature. Okay, and it's all held together with a magnet. Over here is a door feature, which is one of the, I like to use this. I've done it lots of times in my books. I fussy cut these flowers, and I fussy cut the Tin Man from the cover, and then this is a piece of chipboard, and I'm using the chipboard to double, not just as a decorator piece, but also as a fastener, so it's actually holding the page closed. In addition to the fastener, during the construction process, I also put magnets, so it's quite secure. So the way this is accomplished is you glue half of your circle down here, and then half of the outer circle over here, and then you have to weave them together to close it. And I like this. I've done it before with their double chipboards before. I think it's kind of a fun feature. So this opens up, and you have place for photo here. I left this open-ended. This is open-ended. This is a piece of chipboard right here. And then here's more of sort of the ephemera pieces that I designed. So there's a whole page of these cut-aparts in this small card size, which I think are just adorable. And they're really easy to stick in place everywhere. I wound up with quite a bit of these at the end that I set aside because I think I'll use those when I'm actually adding photos. Rather than try to guess where I'm going to put photos, I'll have those left over to tuck here and there once I put my photos in the book. Okay, and then there's another photo mat. And here is the scarecrow. That's page 3. Page 4, here's another exploding flap that I'm featuring. Okay, a piece of chipboard, which I haven't glued down yet. I'm just holding it here because I know I wanted to use that in the somewhere in this, but I haven't decided where. So I'm not ready to glue it down just yet. Then we've got another policy envelope at the center of this. And this is a duplicate on the front. I've just cut it down to a smaller version so it would actually fit inside the policy envelope. This is a graphic 45 policy envelope, which we have in our shop, and the link will be below in the description. So don't forget to hit that more button, and you'll get the list of products, links in the shop, and you'll also, if you scroll just beyond that, you will get the cut list for this album. And that's kind of how we organize all of our videos. So always hit that more button. There's going to be something valuable. You may not want it all, but some of it will be worth your time. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, page 4. This is page 5. This was a very strong pattern, so I didn't really want to layer anything on top of him. I just adore his little face. So I tried to make the inside easy to decorate with photos. Here's more of those cards that I was telling you about. That I'll probably wind up sticking down somewhere, but for the time being, I just want to leave them as stash so that I can either journal on the back of them or use them to help frame or fill around my photos. Okay, and these also were part of the same, cut apart. Okay, another, and here's the Tin Man, another photo mat. These are all decorated the same, or 2 of each. Another door feature. This is part of that cut aparts too. So there's 2 of these, and everything else is those little cards that I showed you. And this opens up. And I designed this so that you could actually layer these 2. So when they're layered together, you get the complete word, Magic of Gilda, Magic of Oz here. And then if you separate them, you see it's actually 2 different cards. And then just took some strips from existing scraps to make this. So I kind of like the way that came together. Piece of chipboard. This is stickers. The stickers are really cute, and I still have some stickers left over, and I think when I go to put photos in, I'll probably wind up cutting out each of these and featuring one for brains, one for heart, and courage, and home. But I like the way this turned out. There's magnets holding this all together. And this is my last exploding feature here. And this actually, like I said, on a 12 by 12 sheet, there's 4 of these. And 3 of them I feature as exploding feature. 3 of them are used in this feature, this exploding feature. One of them, it just didn't quite go with the rest, and I also didn't want an exploding box on page 1. We could have replicated the same design and put it on page 1 instead of this, but one of the reasons I steered clear of that is because the wizard didn't get one. So he was kind of shorted on that. So there's one for the witch, but not for the wizard. So I thought it was a little bit too out of balance. So that's just an FYI. So I did use the other 3 as features in the book. And then here's that paper again. I just love him. He's so pretty. So cool. And then, of course, the Oz is really easy to place your photos there. Okay, and then lastly, another policy envelope here. And again, it's a replication of the image that you saw on the front. And it's blank on the back. So you could either mount a photo or do your journaling here. And as long as you open your flap completely up, it's very easy to access the pocket. It's not hard to get things in and out of it at all. Okay, there we go. Closes in a certain direction, and when you build one, you'll know why, because the gussets are building up as you go into your folds. So you have to fold it in a certain way so that it remains square when you're closed. Okay, another photo mat, another large photo mat, and this one's featuring the lion here. And then I want to point out, I'm not sure I'm going to bring it up. Here I used 2 different patterns for the back, and then I added this strip of sticker right behind it. So instead of using the whole sticker, I actually cut this sticker down to size after I had mounted this feature. And that way I had some more sticker to use later on when I'm actually placing my photos. Okay, and then this is the last page. This is the wizard page, and here's the wizard over here. And this opens and opens, and then here's more of those personally made ephemera cards that I put in here. So what I do when I'm making my own ephemera is I kind of think about the size of a photo. So oftentimes it'll be longer or wider than the photo so that you can get the photo on there as well as have a little bit of space to write some comments. So that's kind of how I do it. And it also depends on what scraps are left over. So there's no magic to that. And sometimes it'll just be, well, this is the size of the piece of the ephemera that I'm going to feature. So how much border do I want around it? It's that scientific. Not really. I just kind of make it up as I go. So just want to let you know what my little thought process was there. And I just like the way that turned out. This is another one of those cut aparts, and this is a really easy one to feature, the Magic of Oz. I think it's really pretty. All right, and then we're gonna wrap this up with the last feature here, and this is that 5x7, and it features the wizard on the outside. And then I didn't point it out on the front, but I used a piece of filigree on the corner here and a piece of filigree on the corner here. And if you purchase the DCE from us, you will get some corners and some coordinating charms. And the charms that are attached here, as long as we have them in stock, but you'll get something similar to that. So now I want to talk a little bit about what it took to make this book. So it takes 2 of the Magic of Oz DCEs, and I didn't use the complete second package. I used over half of it. I think I used 14 of the 24 pages. So I have enough left over to do like a little ATC album if I want to. It's really, if you want to try to do just one DCEs, you won't be able to cover any of your mats, and you'll have a little bit of trouble because this is where a lot of the paper went. I mean, you're doing front and back. So each one of these exploding boxes takes 8 pieces of paper, and these are just under 6 inches each. So you get a sense of how much paper you need just by looking at this feature here. So it can be done. You may not get both A and B covered on all of the flaps or the exploding feature, and you definitely won't be able to cover your inserts. But if you want to build it as is, you'll need 2 of the DCEs, 1 package of the policy envelopes, which comes with 6 policy envelopes, and I used 3. So I used it comes with 2 of each design. I used 1 of each design in this, in the construction of this. But I could easily, rather than build this, put another policy envelope here on the front and back. That would have been an option. And then you'll need the antique door knocker. And that comes in a pack of 2, and I only used 1, but I'll reserve the other one and use it somewhere out down the line, either on a cover or on a spine just like this. And those are the graphic 45 elements that you'll need to make this book. And of course you'll need the additional standard items like adhesives. But as far as collections and hardware, those are the items that I used in this book. So again, it's 2 DCEs, 1 pack of the door knocker, and 1 pack of the policy envelopes. And that's my graphic 45 Magic of Oz, and I hope you guys enjoyed the journey. I enjoyed putting this together. I love the cover. It's so pretty, and it's much prettier in person. I know it's not coming through on the video, but the layers are just gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And then if you want additional information of the cut list, click that more button and it'll all be there for you. Thank you. This is Daphne saying goodbye for now. Next up, my Christmas album. So that'll be out in about 10 days. So that'll be Joy to the World from Graphic 45, and I know you guys are going to love it. It's really pretty. It's full of angels, and I am going to be building that one on cream cardstock, so if you don't have any, run right out and get it so you're ready when I get started. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.